and welcome back to Rank Masters, where we're the critics of internet lists. That's, I think, the furthest I've gotten through the intro without stumbling. One of these days I'll get it through.
Season 3.
Season 3, baby. Season 3.
Episodes?
I think this is episode 3. I don't know. I've kind of honestly lost track. The fact that we're doing it every other week instead of like every week, it's very hard to remember what week we're on.
You know what? That's perfect. I don't want to know what week we're on.
Who likes thinking about things? I don't want to put numbers on anything. Anyway, hi, I'm Seth, and this is...
This is Trace. What we have doesn't need a label.
What we have doesn't need a label. We don't need names. We're just one of those relationships.
Yeah, we don't need a label. We can just vibe, you know? Like, I don't want to ruin what we have.
No, I love that though. This is my favorite kind of relationships where like you just not
what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it. Whatever. We don't have to get into it.
We can if you want to. This is not what we were talking about at all. But
I know. I think it's more of like a douchebag man thing to be like, I don't want to put a label on what we have. Like, I think we should just stick to doing what we're doing and like shut up.
It's both a douchebag man thing and an aromantic thing, which I am, and I think that's why I don't like the labels of romance. for me, you know.
But you know, like that's you're being straightforward about like, oh, I just don't like a label of romance.
Yeah.
But we are like good friends, and that's like as far as we're ever going to be. Instead of being like the wishy-washy, like, I just don't want to put a label on what we're doing right now. But it usually means like, oh, you're the third girl in his phone. So like,
okay, yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. We might be misinterpreting, or interpreting that term different ways.
I think we're doing.
I'm going
the
aromantic way. Anyway, hi. This is not what we were talking about at all. But you know what? Hey, good way to start the episode. How have you been, Trace? What's going? Oh,
good. I want to add into that a little.
Go
bit.
for it.
So
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok the other day. That was.
I'm impressed. I'm so proud of you.
I know, it's so great. Maybe I sent it to you. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I sent you the one that was like me after dry rubbing her labia for 5 minutes.
Yep, I don't know. I was so confused. I hate that.
What do you mean you were so confused? It was just the guy going like, so, are you coming?
I hated that so much. Oh, that was painful.
That's not the TikTok I'm talking about. Anyway,
I know that's not the one.
There was a TikTok that I saw. I don't even think I sent it to anyone except for our mutual friend, Kenzie. But it was like...
Friend of the show,
Kenzie.
Yeah.
And it was this TikTok that was like... It was a dub of a line from some type of movie. And one guy goes like, oh, can I pet your tummy? And the other one's like, how would you like to pet it from the inside, boy? Like... And I sent it to Kenzie and I was like, I understand that they're just talking about sex in general, but vor?
Vor?
And
damn, now I kind of wish you had sent that to me. Also, we're just putting Kenzie on blast right now, are we?
I don't know. Kenzie's just a friend of the show. Like they don't. Who knows what they're into? But Kenzie was like, "What do you mean this is just talking about sex?" And then I had to explain. I was like, you know, like the thing that like some douchebag men that are like, "Oh, my dick's so big, like it'll rub the inside of your stomach," and like. Kenzie's like, no, I don't think I've ever heard that. And I was like, I guess you don't hang out with enough straight men, maybe.
Yeah, rightfully so. I think Kenzie's in the right for not hanging out with straight people.
I think so. I have to be around them sometimes. I don't know.
I'm so sorry. You deserve better.
Like, I was forced to participate in sports as a kid, in different capacities, and it sucked. So, whatever. But also, kind of a hot term that I want to steal from the straights of being like, like petting someone's insides? No, haven't you heard the term, like, I'm going to get in your guts? Whatever.
Yes.
This is such a weird way to start this podcast.
I usually hear it within the context of, like, fisting. I mean, that's a bit more what I was interpreting.
I know, but, like, normally, like, in the non-kink sphere, it just means you have a big dick and you want to get inside. Hi, welcome to this podcast.
Hold on. Trace, are we wearing the same color shirt? I just realized that.
I don't think so.
I think
mine is much...
Well,
mine is a very forest green.
Mine's also green, but the lighting does not look good for that. So, like, physically, when I look at it right now, it looks the same as your shirt is on camera, but it winds up looking more blue on my camera just because the lighting's fucked up here.
It is very blue.
I don't like the lighting. Anyway, should we get to the actual list? Should we talk about what we're talking about today?
I tangented so hard. Whatever. Go ahead.
I mean, isn't that the whole purpose of this show?
No.
No.
No,
I thought it was.
This is a strictly factual-based information podcast.
Well, damn. Well, here's a fun fact for you. Back in November, we did an episode on the 20 greatest human inventions, and I thought, that was a good episode. It was pretty funny. Let's do the opposite.
That's great, because thinking back, you said that and I was like, did we do an episode on that? So,
Yes, it was uploaded. Here, I have the date right. I have it all pulled up right here.
No,
See, I actually
believe
care
you.
about my shit. Yeah, November 8th is when it was uploaded. Why did I say it like that? 8th?
8th?
Anyway, today we have a list of the top 10 worst inventions ever, of the world's worst inventions. They're the most poorly received ones. I looked up a bunch of different types of lists, and some of them like ranked it by these are worse for your wallet. Some of them are just this is shit. This is a bad thing, and it shouldn't have been invented. And I'm curious to see what you think of all of these items, Trace.
Interesting. Okay, bad worst inventions. I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head something I've seen that's like, why is this needed? For some reason, they're all escaping me. Everything that's been created has been needed. That's my hot take right now.
Everything that's been created has been needed. That's absolutely completely fair. Anyway. I feel like there are some things on this list that are not necessary in the slightest that other inventions made before them could pretty easily fulfill. And I think when we get to them, you'll understand.
My goal for this list is to find a use for everything.
Find a use for everything that something else wouldn't be better for. How about that?
A viable use for something.
You know what? That's fair. Thinking competitively. I like that. All right, well, let's start with number 10 on the list. It's the very first one here. This is, in my opinion, probably the silliest of them, but also, I can kind of understand the use for this. It's the parachute coat.
Kind of just looks like a dress.
It kind of just does look like a dress. So the article we have, it has pictures. It's from Science Focus with BBC. It's messy. It is a lot of fabric. I think this guy just basically strapped himself to a kite and is like, how can I make this fold upable into a coat?
I feel this would rock at a drag show. It's like, I don't know what it is.
Wait,
like
you're
this,
right.
I think I've seen a drag queen wear this before.
You're right.
The drape kind of goes hard. Michael Costello, who, if you've watched Project Runway, maybe you'll get that joke. If you
say a name, there's no way I'm going to get it. I hope someone in our audience does.
I was an avid Project Runway watcher, but there was a contestant in like my favorite season, Michael Costello, and his big strength is he learned how to drape dresses really well.
Ooh.
So I was like, ooh, look at that drape, Michael Costello who. Anyway, whatever. He's a controversial figure. I'm not saying I'm a fan or not a fan, whatever. But this outfit kind of goes hard. I would wear it.
The outfit does kind of go hard. There's a little bit of a synopsis here. It says that the inventor was a tailor by trade. In the early days of powered human flight, he was inspired to design a suit that could be used as a parachute by pilots. After initial tests using dummies, which, imagine putting a dummy in one of these things, he was so sure his design would work that in 1912 he decided to test it by jumping from the lower level of the Eiffel Tower. Sadly, however, design failed and he fell to his death.
Oh, but that's funny.
Yes, it is funny, but also objectively a useless invention. It didn't work. It didn't work.
The prototype didn't work. All right. So we just got to try again.
Well, unfortunately, he was the human who tested his own prototype and died as a result. So there's not going to be a version 2.
That has happened a lot, actually. I think I watched a YouTube video that was dedicated to inventors who died testing their inventions.
That makes sense to me, because like if you are so confident in something that other people might be afraid of, are you going to hire someone else to risk their life for your invention? No, you're going to try it out yourself and then possibly die.
Or you're poor. I don't know. Like,
that's true. Yeah, hire the poor. Whoops.
Or you're rich and overconfident and think that because you're rich, you're able to do whatever.
That's true. Yeah, there are a lot of rich people who think they're invincible and that everything they make is flawless.
Yeah, it's perfect. I think one of those was like a guy was trying to make a car that was also a plane, I think.
I can understand the logic behind it. I can see how he died.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm pretty sure the guy who was inventing that was like a rich guy, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to test it out, and then he died.
Yeah, that scans. So. That makes sense. Having not seen that video, that makes absolute sense to me. But yeah,
I think the viable use for this invention is just as a drag race performance.
You know what? Actually, genuinely, yes, you have found a viable use for this, because it's definitely not going to be for flying. We now have like actual wingsuits and other like real parachutes that are designed for flight, not a parachute suit like this. But you know what? Yeah, I can see a drag performer taking us out on stage or on the runway stage. I don't know enough drag.
Yeah, well, we used to have parachute pants. Now get ready for the parachute coat.
The parachute coat, baby. Let's go. All right, moving on. Number 9 on this list. Trace, how do you feel about coffee pods?
Okay. First of all, I don't really drink coffee at all.
Same here. Hate coffee. Big despiser of coffee.
Well, okay, I'm moving soon to the New England area. And I've been told multiple times that this is going to make me a coffee drinker.
Really?
It's just such a big thing over there. But then also when I started like writing for a living, everyone else was like, oh, you're going to become a big coffee drinker, right? Writers drink so much coffee. And it didn't happen then either. Like, I've been in meetings with other writers that are just, the whole entire cabinetry is stocked with coffee. And I get offered coffee like every hour, and I'm just like, no, I'm fine, actually. So
hey, fair. You know what? I'm on the same board as you. I do not like coffee. I'll take like maybe a frappuccino, and that's more just for the flavor and the sugar, though. I don't really like the coffee itself.
Normally, when I'm drinking coffee, it's so much of a dessert drink now that it shouldn't even be considered the same type of coffee.
Like every coffee I would drink would taste better without the caffeine. Just hot take. Just making a milkshake.
I don't know if it would taste better without the caffeine. Like there's some goodness to the bitterness.
That's fair.
And that's the same thing with you and alcohol, right? Like there's nothing that you like, oh, if you just take out the alcohol, it's going to be better, which I agree with slightly more than the coffee.
That's fair.
But there are some drinks where I'm like, okay, the bitterness actually kind of adds to this. I was at TFF. Mm-hmm. And
you were crazy.
That's so crazy. I'm sorry. I forgot we were keeping that a secret for some reason.
No, it's okay. It's in the past. What are they going to do? Show up to TFF now? Fuckers.
Yeah. So
you're too late.
I went to TFF and I was in a room and they made like this weird drink and they called it Shrek's Swamp Ass. I know.
God, I hate furries sometimes.
so appealing, but it was literally just a great drink, and it tasted like Kool-Aid, but it had like that slight little bitterness that kind of paired off with like the tart sweetness of Kool-Aid. It was very good, very dangerous too. Like something that you could hand to someone who doesn't even like alcohol, and they'd be like, "Wow, this was great."
Wow, there's no alcohol. Wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's why it's a little dangerous. Sorry. Anyway, coffee pods.
Yes.
I'm around them all the time.
Same.
I can see why they're a little viable. I mean, as someone with really bad ADHD, I can understand that something with less steps is always a lot better than things with more steps when you need it, but you can't get yourself to do it.
That's absolutely fair. In my experience, coffee pods still kind of require more steps than just having like bags of ground coffee. Because if the way they work is that they have machines entirely dedicated to working with the coffee pods, where you put in the pods and you press the button. There are also machines that work perfectly fine with just bags of like coffee beans that you could just spread, or coffee beans, yeah, that's the right word. But to like just spread it out across multiple days or weeks even, and I feel like that is less work than replacing the pod every time and cleaning it out and everything. But also, the main thing that this article focuses on is that the inventor regrets making them because of their fucking horrendous carbon footprint. Good lord.
I mean, and that's the problem with things that are more convenient, is they are normally they're usually contained in single-use plastics or single-use something or another.
Exactly.
Which means that they create a whole bunch of waste. And yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the value of it. It's definitely a convenience thing. I do agree it probably shouldn't have existed, but not completely useless. I understand that. It's just bad. It's just a bad invention. Moving on to number 8 on the list.
Oh, we're just going to move on. I mean,
unless you have more thoughts about coffee pods.
I don't know, because it is difficult as someone like who struggles with motivation to get things done unless there's like so few steps. which is why my freezer is filled with like easy heat meals. And
That's
shit.
true. Yeah, I get
because
that.
it's like, oh shit, I forgot to eat all day and I need to eat something, but my body's like, cooking takes too many steps, so actually we're just not going to. So I'm just like, all right, I can at least force myself to get up and heat something up out of the freezer.
I do understand that. Yeah, as a little motivation is very hard to come by these days. I've been procrastinating on writing a script for a video for 2 whole months now, and I'm finally on it, and I still do not have the motivation for it. I hate writing. Writing sucks.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I did not take the same career path as you.
I mean, I like
horrendous.
I like writing. The problem is just like my job has made it such a horrible thing to do. So
yes, I genuinely think I liked writing before I had to write like a bunch of psychology papers in college. And even though like what I'm writing is not at all related to the psychology papers, like it's not even academic style, whatever. It's so hard to find that motivation to enjoy writing again. And it's like, I don't want to write scripts anymore. I like editing. Just let me be an editor. I don't want to write scripts. Fuck that shit.
Oh God. Cause I feel the exact same way right now with like, with producing any type of journalism or media content. Is just, I'm like, I want to be a background person again. I don't want to do the foreground work anymore. And I still enjoy writing, and I still get like the desire to write.
Yeah.
I think it's just the environment that I'm working in right now has made it so difficult to enjoy that process anymore.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And it's always the warning that you get, like, don't monetize the things that you really love doing, because then you won't love to do them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the balance that I'm teetering on. So as I'm continuing to job search for my move, it's like, maybe I start applying to more things that are in the background instead of in the foreground.
That might be the case, yeah. If that's kind of the role you want to fill again, if you're not currently enjoying the foreground, going for a background job, and then maybe just saying to that company, "Hey, I'm ready for foreground." If you want to do that at some point down the line, that might make sense. That might work.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Like, and especially being in the furry fandom, like if I ever get the desire to write again, I'm sure there are volunteer areas where I can write more for like the fandom, or even just personal blog, or I can freelance a couple of stories.
Yeah,
like, it is what it is. I don't know. We don't have to get serious on this podcast, but
when have we ever been serious? Anyway, moving on to number 8. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Say hello to the Sinclair C5 electric tricycle. I've never heard of this before. The article has a picture of it. If anyone's just listening, I believe the link in the description of each episode links to the article we're reading. I want you just to see a picture of this one. I don't know what I'm looking at.
That dude looks like one cool motherfucker.
The dude writing it does look like one cool motherfucker. I absolutely agree with you there. There. What is up with me today? I talk for a living.
Sir Clive Sinclair.
Sir Clive Sinclair.
At Alexandra Palace? Where the fuck is in London? Jesus Christ.
That makes sense. It's London.
Was this made for the rich and powerful?
Well, his name is Sir Clive Sinclair, so yes.
Yeah, launches his new electric vehicle at Alexandra Palace, London. Why is he at a palace? Why is his name Sir Clive Sinclair? And why does that scooter look really cool?
Well, it's not a scooter, Trace. It's a tricycle. The Sinclair C5 was one of those inventions that was far too ahead of its time. Before its launch, Sir Clive Sinclair had a great reputation as a successful inventor and father of the home computer. The launch of his ZX Spectrum in 1982 revolutionized home computing. But when he launched his electric tricycle in 1985, all of that was forgotten. Jesus Christ, imagine having something that was so bad that all of your previous accomplishments were just wiped off.
I mean, sorry, the way you said that reminded me of another fucking TikTok.
Okay.
It was just a guy that was running on a treadmill. And
Number
like,
7 on this list is TikTok itself. Let's be real here.
Do you ever feel like your treadmill's trying to jerk you off?
Huh?
And then someone stitched it and was like, "No, bud, I don't think it ever has. But if it did, maybe I'd actually run more."
Okay, now wait a minute. Hold on. Trace.
He meant like, has it ever like have you ever felt like you're going to like be thrown off of the treadmill when you're running?
I know that's what you meant, but that's
he worded it in such a weird way.
Yes.
Like,
Trace, thank you for explaining the joke. I appreciate that.
Whatever,
but now we need to invent a treadmill.
No, we don't need to invent that. No, we don't.
It wouldn't be hard. We can get Lovins to sponsor it.
No, I think it'd be stupid. That's a useless invention, all right? There's nothing good can come from that.
Well, that's just poor thinking on your part then. But yeah, the article talks about how this electric tricycle... Sorry, I'm still thinking about jerked off on a treadmill.
Just whatever. Stupid TikTok.
The electric tricycle could legally be driven on the road, but it was so short that everything else could tower above it, meaning like you couldn't be seen when you're driving one of these on the road. And also something about like a top speed of 15 miles per hour, just very, very bad thing. It was too early. It was 1985. This is like an early attempt at an electric car, and it did not work. And frankly, could have if they just waited a little bit longer.
I mean, wait a second. His electric tricycle was launched in 1985?
Yeah, that's why I'm very, very early.
So it was ahead of its time. Like that's super ahead of its time.
I was gonna say I can see this being something that was popular in 2010, like around the time that like the hoverboards came out. I could see this doing really well. If
this dude just waited a tiny little bit and like gave it 2 wheels and a weird little stick to drive it with, he would have invented the Segway.
Wait, when was the Segway invented? I feel like that was invented earlier.
No, it could not have been. I'm going to say the Segway was probably invented in like 2003.
Close. December 2001. You're absolutely right. Damn.
Ooh. So they saw 9/11 and they were like, you know what we need to do?
No. The towers fell so we could ride forward on 2 wheels.
The only thing that ever happened in 2001 was 9/11.
That's
sorry.
The only thing. Oh my God.
That's the only thing that ever happened.
That's wild to think about. Okay, moving on. I can't think about that any longer. You want to move on to number 7? I lost track.
Sure.
Fun fact, this article isn't actually numbered. I'm numbering them all myself. I assume they're just going in order. Top 10 here.
We assume a lot of articles are in top 10 order when they don't have any numbers.
That's quite true. Anyway, number 7. This is one I 100% agree with is a fucking horrendous invention. Say hello to pop-up ads. Yeah.
So I was listening to so being in media and content creation of a more professional variety. I guess, I don't know. I don't like to shit
Wow. Of a professional variety? What do you mean, Trace? No, I 100% get it. I understand
I have
what you mean.
an employer and like whatnot. I can understand why pop-up ads were created. So the very first ad that was created online was an advertisement that was like you won't click here or something. Like it was a very like what you would think an internet ad would today be, like a clickbait ad. But that was the very first advertisement that was online. It was something that was like, you won't click here, or I bet you've never clicked here.
Interesting.
Or something. And when people clicked it, it went to an advertisement.
Okay.
And it was an incredibly popular advertisement. So people saw like, oh shit, like we can get a lot of eyes on our product if we use online advertising. And that's kind of where it started. But because online advertising started out like so clickbaity and tricky,
yeah,
and, it made it to where like almost no one wanted to click on anything other than the content they were specifically there to see. And it kind of trained people to avoid advertisements, which is why pop-up ads had to start happening, because no one was clicking on the ads anymore. And advertisers were like, well, why should we fucking advertise with you? No one's seeing our stuff. And like I can understand why pop-up ads were created, but oh my God.
I don't understand how pop-up ads resolve that issue though. Like if they're not clicking on the regular like inline ads, you're not going to click up on a pop-up ad either.
Well, no, because like a pop-up ad, it'll pop up and it'll give you more information that you can see there. Like you have to look at that advertisement.
Okay, but so you're still not going to click.
But like, okay, think of it.
I think you're not describing this properly. What's going on?
No, I am. I am. I just don't think you understand how advertisements work.
First of all, fuck you.
I was waiting for you to shoot back, and I was like, "Come on, don't make me look like don't make me look like a stupid asshole here, please." Oh my god, no.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, no. The problem. So the reason why a pop-up ad would be preferable to just a regular sidebar ad is because, a company cannot say, "Oh, we guarantee that someone saw this advertisement."
Yes.
But if you're saying that the ad has popped up on every single person who's clicked on your website, you can say, "Oh, well, we know at least this many people saw the advertisement."
So the reason pop-up ads are better is not due to actual effectivity of the ad. It's more for statistic tracking of saying this is an exact number. I feel like that has been resolved though. I feel like pretty much every inline ad can now see the amount of times that's been at least loaded up and viewed on screen.
Right. And I think a lot of it was due to, and this is just me speculating now, I think a lot of it was due to a lot of people that were trying to advertise online not knowing how people interacted with the webpage.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I can understand someone being like, well, we have pop-up ads. We can sell you those. Those are going to be more expensive because they're guaranteed to pop up on someone's screen instead of them just casually scrolling by them now like they've been doing.
That makes sense.
Because our tricky ads that we started out with just don't work anymore. So I can understand why. Because of profits.
I hate the idea of having to guarantee to an advertiser that their ad will get this many views or this many clicks or something. Because whenever I've taken sponsorships, either on Twitch or YouTube, because I haven't taken many, but I've taken a handful, they always ask me to give an estimate of how many clicks I think that sponsorship is going to get. And at my level, I can't make even promises for how many views a given video is going to get, because it can vary wildly. Sometimes I'll have videos that are below 100. Sometimes I'll have videos that hit 100K. I don't know. I have no way of predicting that. And even with 100K ones, let's be honest, very few of them are actually going to click on an ad if that's the case. But they're going to watch it. I hate the idea of having to make a promise. I wish there was a way for just to say, you need to take that risk. You need to assess, looking at my channel, what you think is whether or not this is a worthwhile risk for you. And that sucks. So I understand from a stat tracking perspective, pop-ups make sense.
Pop-ups make sense, but then they ruined the internet.
Then they ruined the internet. Yes, they fucking suck, and I hate them. And that's why AdBlock exists. Shoutouts to uBlock Origin, baby. Yes, I am a YouTuber, and I do promote AdBlock.
I know. Can you?
I can't imagine living in a world without AdBlock right now.
Have you tried Opera GX? Have you tried that?
No, because they haven't sponsored me.
Oh my god!
Okay. If they reach out to me for a sponsorship, maybe I'll give them a try. But I'm waiting.
I get it. Because I've been thinking because at first it's oh, maybe I just need to switch over to Firefox.
That's what I use. I'm a Firefox user here.
But then all of the advertisements that Opera GX has been doing have almost convinced me that maybe I need to try it. They're doing an effective ad campaign.
They are doing a very effective ad campaign. Yeah, I will admit they're promoting its product a lot better than most sponsorships do.
But I have this weird YouTube sponsorship suspicion that anyone who has a lot of YouTube sponsorships is actually a really bad company.
I can understand why that would be the case, especially when it's promoting a free product like an internet browser. Because you have to wonder, how the fuck did they get that much money to sponsor this many people?
Did we ever figure out how Honey was able to sponsor so many people?
God, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I am
convinced there was some money laundering or something happening at Honey, because they're oh, it's a free product, and actually we help you get coupons to save money. So I'm like, are they selling your data? Are they tracking your online movement to sell to people? What are they doing to make their money?
I do have a suspicion, because I did use Honey for a little bit. Because again, it was free and it got the discounts. I noticed they wouldn't actually input all the easily findable discount codes that you could see out there online. They'd prioritize their discount codes. It would have Honey 123 being a discount code, and they would once you installed Honey, it would have a list of saying, here's a bunch of special vendors with discounts right now. I think what might happen is that Honey is treating themselves as an advertising campaign for a bunch of other companies, and they get their money basically advertising for this company and saying, hey, we'll bring more people to you if you let them have a like discount through us. And I think that's how they make the most of them. Now, granted, they could also probably be selling your data. I wouldn't put it past them. But I think that makes the most sense as to how they got their profits.
Well, and it's so because everything is selling your data nowadays.
Exactly.
Like, did I tell you about how when I first signed up for Trash, like a trash?
Yes, you did. Yes, you
trash
did.
delivery service.
Here, Trace. I'm giving you my shit. Here's some trash, baby.
Here's my trash.
But yeah, I do think you've told the story on podcast before about like your trash company is selling your data.
Yeah, like they were like, oh, give us all of this information for you to sign, like make an account with us. And I was like, you don't need to know my social security number and all of this other like very, very delicate information to come and pick up my trash.
No
I was
kidding.
like, if my utility company didn't need to have my social security number, you don't.
Exactly.
Step back. Everything sells your data nowadays, so I wouldn't be surprised if Honey is like, anecdotally, Honey, do not sue me. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold like your data.
I mean, honestly, just you saying I would not be surprised is still enough to not qualify it as libel. You're not making a statement that they are. You're just saying that you think they are, and that's fine. I mean, what are they going to do? They can't sue that. They know better than to try and sue that. But also, I just honestly, I'm kind of desperate for money. Even if they did reach out for a sponsorship, I'd probably still say yes.
I mean, yeah.
I hope people can understand and forgive me for chasing that coin. I'm stuck in a dead end job. I really just want to be a video editor. Let me have something.
Like I forgive most YouTubers for the sponsorships they take, unless it was like advertising for something that was horribly egregious.
Yeah.
Then there have
been a handful of those out there. None of them immediately come to mind. I do know, what was that one like Japanese knife company that like they were advertising specifically Japanese knives, and then some rumors came out about them being horrible. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. There's rumors of every like I said, every YouTube advertisement
ethical consumption under capitalism, right?
Yeah, well, because like there's bad things about a certain meal delivery company. There's bad.
Which of the 7? There's too many of them at this point.
I'm not going to say it for your benefit. There's
Is it one of the 2 that sponsored me? They're actually secretly the same company. Just don't tell anybody.
Maybe like, and then there's also like BetterHelp was.
BetterHelp, I remember getting dragged. I don't think I'll ever accept a BetterHelp sponsorship because people know I have a degree in psychology. Like I can't be that irresponsible when it comes down to therapy.
Yeah. So I just have a high suspicion when someone has a lot of money to spend on YouTube sponsorships for some reason. There seems to be a track record.
Do
you remember the people who were like selling deeds? You're gonna be a lord and lady.
That was one of the other companies that I think they had a parent company with a Japanese knife. What was it called? Something titles? I don't know. Noble titles or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I remember they were fucking horrible and didn't actually have the right to do that.
No, like everything they were doing was just a scam. Like they were just scamming people.
That was blatantly scamming. Yeah, that's terrifying to think about. God, how much money do you think they made doing that?
A lot.
Yeah. That's depressing.
A lot.
That's really depressing. Anyway, speaking of depressing, you want to talk about number 6?
Depression. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, next on the depression, we're talking about hydrogen airships.
Oh, the humanity.
I mean, they were quite depressing for sure. This article has a lot to talk about them. I guess it is science focused, so that makes sense that they're talking a lot about hydrogen airships. But these motherfuckers explode. That's all you really need to know.
Did you know? Okay.
I did not.
That airships, like the sack that was inside that filled with the hydrogen was made of like cow stomach, I think, or some animal's stomach, and they had to use like 50,000 of them for one airship.
I was gonna say that would be a lot. Holy shit!
Yeah, it was bad. Like, okay, like, do you want to look it up or should I look it up? Because
I'll let you look it up.
Okay, you talk.
About what? What the fuck am I supposed to? You can't just say you talk and then have me take it over like that.
You have a whole entire section about airships that you can read from right now.
Fine, I'll read it exactly as it says then. In the days before transatlantic flights on jet aircraft, if you wanted to travel over long distances, you would be restricted to sea travel. But with the advent of powered flight in the early decades of the 20th century, traveling around the world quickly started looking like an exciting possibility. Air balloon technology had also improved dramatically and was becoming widespread as a means of transport. Many companies produced airships, but it was the emergence of the Zeppelin company that saw massive growth in their popularity. Zeppelin had a great...
So German Zeppelins were made with cow intestines, and it led to sausage restrictions during World War I. I found the information that I needed.
Thank you very much. Also, the interesting correlation, I guess it makes sense that there would be a decrease in sausage. Hadn't thought about that weird effect, but yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. They came from War History Online.
I trust it implicitly.
I
believe it's saying everything correctly.
Well, here's popular mechanics. Why enormous British airships required thousands of ox intestines to get off the ground.
Ooh. Okay, ox intestines, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that's terrifying. I hate that. But anyway,
they just needed something's stomach.
They needed something to fill it up. And I do know that's like a lot of products were made out of like stomachs and intestines. Like condoms were made out of like sheep intestine, at least originally. I don't know if they still are.
Yeah, they actually still are. No.
They still are. But like I do know a lot of like material that's used in common day comes from animal, even outside of like things you would eat or things that you would like be aware of is from animal. But giant floating ship that's basically just a big bomb, you wouldn't expect that to be made out of cow stomach.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was like so the main problem was that they couldn't let the hydrogen ignite, so they used cow stomach, which was really, really durable and stretchy and wouldn't tear easily, and that's where they're like, oh, this is the perfect thing that we can use for it. And
yet it's still ignited.
And yet
all right, moving on. Number 5 on this list, bit closer to home with my heart. It's the Sega Dreamcast. Weird pivot from talking about Zeppelins to the Sega Dreamcast.
So did you know?
Was the Sega Dreamcast also made out of stomach? No! That's why Sonic's so like that.
That's why Sonic is so sexy.
No! Oh my god, you're right. You're so right.
I know. I have no fun facts about the Sega Dreamcast.
You know what? That's fair. I mean, honestly, Dreamcast could have been a good console. It's just bad timing, for real. Because given my knowledge of video game history, I'm expected to have a bit more to say about the Sega Dreamcast. But unfortunately, I do not. I was more focused on Nintendo. I don't care too much about Sega's console history. They don't make consoles anymore. They fucking failed. And it's primarily this. But I do know it was competing with like PlayStation and stuff, and PlayStation had 3D. And it was like actually good.
And it actually was good. No, I know nothing about the Sega Dreamcast. Like I don't even know what its gimmick was. I don't know shit about this thing other than it was from Sega and it played Sonic. That's
pretty much all you really need to know. It didn't really have a notable gimmick. It was just released around the time as like the PlayStation, PlayStation 2. I think GameCube was also around the time. It was just the last real attempt at Sega of making a console, and it didn't have anything special to set it apart. It was just another Sega console, didn't have a lot of games on it, and it just, this is their way of saying, this is the last time, and we're not making any more consoles after this. Because after that, pretty much actually even during the Dreamcast's life, if you can call it that, they were still putting games on other consoles. And like most of the time when you think of a Sonic game, I think of it on the GameCube. Like genuinely.
I mean, I never even played a Sonic game. Sonic never interested me.
That's
sorry,
fair.
Sonic fans out there.
There's a new Sonic tabletop RPG, and I just found out about that.
Okay.
Which is wild to me.
Go off, Sonic, I guess. We love tabletop RPG.
Yeah, we do.
I do remember playing a 3D Pac-Man game on the GameCube. That was really weird.
Pac World? I don't remember which one.
Yeah,
that
it was
was,
like
but
Pac-Man
I think I
World.
remember what you're talking about. There were like 3 of them on the GameCube.
Yeah,
It was
I don't
kinda
know
weird.
why. I was like, why?
GameCube and Wii were like prime time for shovelware or like weird licensed games, and I feel like even Pac-Man
the
fell into that
Wii.
trap somehow. We need to talk. We need to talk about top 10 best Wii shovelware games at some point. I have thoughts on that matter.
I still need you to play that cat game that I showed you on stream or whatever.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one.
Because
I'm gonna try and forget about that one again.
that game had such a grip on me.
I'll find it again. I don't know if I'll ever make a video on it, but who knows? I might play it someday.
I know.
Once I'm out of this kind of like depressive slump of like not making content, I might get back into it.
That's fair. Hey, do you want any of my
Any of your
Wii games?
yes, please. I love collecting Wii games. I don't know why, but I fucking absolutely. I'll take a Wii game any day.
Do you also want my Xbox?
Maybe, possibly.
I'm just trying to
literally
get rid of
whatever you
shit.
don't want to take with you. If it's gaming related, I'll probably find a use for it.
All right, cool. I'll give that your way then.
Wonderful.
I need to. No, do I keep my Xbox because that's what I play Minecraft on?
Yeah, you might want to keep that. Oh, actually, you have Minecraft on the computer, right?
I think I
Yeah.
bought it like sometime.
Well, if you have the Minecraft Windows 10 or like the Bedrock edition on the computer,
Oh, you're right.
you can still play with a controller, the exact same way as if Xbox.
Can I really?
Yeah.
I don't know
There is
fucking shit.
there is
about,
no difference between
like,
Bedrock on a computer and Bedrock on Xbox. They're the exact same thing. They function with controllers the exact same way.
interesting. Okay, I mean, I'll have to figure that out. I know that Forge. No, that's how you mod
That's how you mod Java edition specifically.
Java. That's what I'm looking for. I was like, I know Java. Like, you cannot, or at least you used to not be able to use a controller at all.
I think you
sucked.
still can't, which is weird. And like you have to mod it to get controller use in.
Because I hate gaming on a keyboard, which is why I avoided gaming like on my, unless it's The Sims. Then for some reason I can bypass it there because that's only like a click and choose game. Okay, so that's fine. I can play that. Yeah.
That's kind of there are lists out there of like here's how you can play Minecraft with a controller, but they're all talking about like adding mods to Java Edition. So I do think Bedrock does work perfectly fine with controller. But moving on, number 4 on this list. Are you ready?
Yep.
Chewing gum. I was not expecting this to be on the list.
Why? What is wrong with gum?
Although chewing gum has existed for thousands of years, the modern version has been with us since 1848, when the first
very
commercial
modern.
chewing gum went on sale. Flavorings were soon added in the 1860s to boost it. Wait, that means for like a solid 10 years, chewing gum was being sold without flavor. I hadn't thought of that.
I mean, it still probably had like a flavor, but it wasn't like the flavors we know and love now.
That's fair. Anyway, one of the main ingredients in modern gum is polyvinyl acetate, a kind of plastic that is very difficult to remove when it comes into contact with things like shoes and pavements. And this also makes it very time-intensive and expensive to remove. Thankfully, a new generation of plastic-free chewing gum has started to appear, meaning you no longer need to feel so guilty about having a good chew. This is just how we got all the microplastics.
No, not you.
I was in the macroplastics. We've had this joke before.
You went directly to the source.
I went directly to the source. Everyone else caught up on chewing gum. I'm like, I'm way ahead of y'all fuckers.
Like, y'all need to fucking catch up. All right? Y'all are weak.
Yes.
You were chewing on, what was it, your meal card? I was chewing on pencils constantly.
I know I brought up the meal card story all the time. That's not the only thing I would chew on. Anything like kind of around or near my neck, I would chew on. So like anytime I wore jackets, I would chew on like the aglets of the little strappy things. I had a leather jacket and I would just eat like the quarters of like the collar. I don't know why I did that. I just needed to chew on things. I was teething through high school.
Honestly, yeah, true. Like, if I had anything in my hand while I was bored, I was chewing on it. The shit was in my mouth. Like, Erasers, pencils, pens specifically.
I love that. That's such a good vibe. All right, moving on. Number fucking 3, I think. I think we're on 3. Yes, this is number 3. I lost track there for a second.
Whatever number we're on.
We're on. This is number 3. It's Betamax Video. Trace, I assume you know a bit more about Betamax Video, being that you are in the video production industry. What are your thoughts?
Isn't that the guy from Big Hero 6?
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. Yep.
I mean, I don't know shit about video. I'm more in the audio and
That's
photography creation space. Most bad inventions because they're thought out, but the world. What is it?
Are you reading this for me?
Systems. I can if you want me to. Most bad inventions fail because they are ill thought out. But in the world of home video systems, Sony's Betamax systems was in fact better in terms of picture quality when compared to its rival home video system. However, it sold poorly in comparison due to the adoption of VHS by the adult film industry. Porn does everything.
Porn does everything, baby.
As well as the higher cost of the system. Despite launching in 1975, Sony only stopped producing Betamax tapes in 2016.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. Genuinely, what this is, it's just a different type of tape. It was a competitor to VHS, and it didn't work out. It wasn't that popular.
I remember going to Walmart, and I actually think
I also remember going to Walmart. Those were tough times.
Maybe I don't still have it. I remember. You're right. I remember going to Walmart as a kid, right on the cusp of when DVDs were becoming popular, or at least becoming popular in the area that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And I found a Pokemon DVD, and I remember having a conversation with me, my mom, and my brother, and we all agreed, we're like, yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be the future of how video is like stored. So, we should probably get that. So our first DVD we ever bought was a Pokemon, like Pokemon, the first movie.
Sure.
And we had like a very serious conversation of like, but we have a VHS player at home, and we do VHS, and do we actually have to get up, or is this just a fad? And we're like, no, this is probably actually going to be like the future of home video. So we should probably get on it.
To be fair, it kind of was for a while. DVD lasted a fairly long time. There are still some places where it's used today. It's just now mostly everything is. I mean, there's other ways to transfer digital files now.
Yeah. Well, like, I would say disk file drives are kind of obsolete at this moment.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like there are still disk drives there's still value in it versus an SSD. Just not for video as much as it used to be.
Maybe. I would say like I like it for music because, well, I mean, I'm a vinyl guy. I collect vinyl records. Guy, yeah. I think owning physical media of some kind is valuable.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I will never. Yeah. I'm never gonna knock someone for owning a physical version of like the media they enjoy, because as we know now, a lot of companies are just gonna delete that shit when it's no longer useful for them.
Ain't so that we can't, the fucking truth? Ugh.
We can't rely on them to preserve the media that we like. So you should just get it yourself.
What we can rely on is Yarhar turning the piracy. I did notice there's one thing like. When Gumroad recently announced their whole like anti-kink thing, or like, hey, we're submitting to all the major card issuers and affiliates, we have to not allow kink on our site anymore. A lot of furry artists were like surprisingly open to their Gumroad stuff just being pirated. It's like, hey, I would rather this just still be out there somewhere than stay on a site, or like. Basically everyone who couldn't convert to their own another method of selling their stuff. And I'm like, I kind of respect them. It's like they're caring more about the preservation of their kink stuff as opposed to continuing to profit off it. Now, it still sucks that they're not able to profit off of it. I would have loved to give people money, and I hope that there's still ways to like donate and just say, this isn't actually for the kink thing, but it is.
Like, yeah, and also like fuck Gumroad.
Fuck like, Gumroad, yeah.
There's that tweet that they made where like, oh, we made $900,000 in sales yesterday, like bragging about how much money the artists had made as they were trying to like make the last little bit of money they could before they were kicked off the website.
Yeah, fuck Gumroad, fuck Visa, fuck MasterCard, fuck
Patreon.
Fuck Patreon too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so tired of. No, I'm just tired in general. But I'm tired
Honestly, yeah, true.
Of the idea of sex being so consistently tabooed to the point where anyone who like enjoys doing sex and can find a career in kink is not allowed to just live their life. Like, really, come on, it's frustrating.
Yeah, and also like fuck Texas, I guess.
Yes.
No, like actually fuck Texas, because they are really pushing towards age gating content in a very restrictive way that is just designed to push it off no matter what. Like, not even just to age gate it, like to specifically get rid of it. So yeah, that sucks. All of it sucks. I'm dystopian hell.
This is dystopian hell for anyone horny.
I mean, yeah, but also, as we've seen, like, lots of industry is made on sex.
Industry is made on sex. Thanks. That's the reason we have VHS. Or had VHS.
That's the reason, yeah, we had VHS for so long, apparently. And that's, like, a lot of why the internet became super, super popular.
True.
That's why that's why Patreon became popular. God fucking damn it.
Yep.
That's why Gumroad became popular, but they ditch them. Like, OnlyFans, how they had, like, that little scare for a little bit that they weren't going to allow sexual content anymore. And
did they really?
Yeah.
What the? I missed that entirely. What the fuck?
Well, a lot of people jumped ship on OnlyFans because a MasterCard was like, you can't have this. And like, now it's like super, super restricted. Like, you have to have a bunch of contracts. If you're an adult creator on there, you have to have like the other person, you have to have their ID. You have to like have them like signed papers that you submit to OnlyFans.
I guess that makes sense. But that's absolutely wild.
Yeah. Like, it got super, super restrictive afterwards, which I'm glad that they decided to keep it in some capacity. It's just, yeah, it was a dumb thing that they almost did because of MasterCard.
Fuck Visa, fuck MasterCard. I hate those companies. Fuck American Express, too. I know they're not directly related to what we're talking about, but fuck them, too.
You know what? Fuck American Capital. Like, just all of it. All of Capital Exchange and Enterprise. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I think this is 9. Number 2 on this list.
2.
My bad. I was going through the other way. My list is backward in my head. Number 2, we have plastic carrier bags. What do you think of plastic bags, Trace? What are your thoughts on plastic bags?
Tasty.
Delicious. Yeah, that's I kind of get it.
I mean,
we could have had paper bags be more common. Genuinely, there could have been an alternate timeline where instead of plastic bags, we had paper bags.
No, honestly, I can understand why we chose plastic. Just because, like, in our minds, we were like, oh, we're cutting down so many trees. This is a much better option. And we didn't realize the ramifications of what we had created.
Trees
and now
can grow back.
The things that I don't understand are the aversion to get rid of the plastic bags. I don't understand.
People are so avid about wanting to stick with plastic bags now that we have them. Like, there's so many other better options.
Like, you can make a good paper bag.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do.
I don't get it. My mom is the same way. She's very averse not to bags, but she's very averse to like paper straws. And she's like, well, they just melt in my mouth with the liquid. And I'm like, that's not an issue that you have with paper bags, though. Hopefully, you're not just putting like liquid in paper bags. Like, if you're putting milk or something there, hopefully it's in another container of some sort.
Actually, I just put my whole raw milk in there and let it slosh around.
Just squeeze the cow tit directly into the fucking paper bag.
Yeah, isn't that how your grocery store works? I'm confused.
Yeah, that's exactly. My grocery store sells fucking glass bottles still of milk.
That's actually kind of fire.
It's really cool. And they it's outsourced from like a local company. They do like different flavors. They have like a cookies and cream glass bottle. And then you like rinse the bottle. So you hopefully bring back the glass bottle and exchange it for a different one. I love it. I think that's a cool system. It's expensive, but it's a really cool system. You get a bunch of different cool milk flavors.
I mean, I think that's cool. I don't know. There's a part of me that like, really enjoys old things. That's like, you've been in my house. You've seen how many antiques I fucking have in this thing.
I'm very much aware.
But I like old things. Maybe that's just the whiteness in me overtaking. But
Ooh, oh, yep, you're right. Okay, go on.
I mean, like, yeah, I understand that I view things through a lens that maybe is more privileged than others in that capacity. But I like old things, okay? They're really fun. I like going to the antique stores, I like picking out cool things and being like, well, shit, this is cool. And then keeping it.
And then keeping it.
Because it's mine. Because it's mine now.
That's fair.
Unlike plastic bags, which you throw away, and then they get trapped in the ocean, and then the fish eat them, and then we eat the fish, and now we have
even more plastics in our body.
Now we have more plastics.
Look at what you've done.
Oh man, we are really destroying this planet at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, it's genuinely terrifying to think. Like, in terms of science, we are absolutely solving science of the human body, and like we're allowing humans to live longer at a like healthier, like the quality of life later in life is getting better too, which is a good sign. It won't matter if Earth doesn't exist when I'm 90.
Yeah,
like that's sad to
what
think
can
about.
You do? We've got to make money.
Yeah,
so like we can't stop doing what we're doing now. Like, that's crazy talk.
Capitalism has to end soon. I don't know what else there will be, but it cannot be allowed to exist like this any longer. Anyway, moving on.
Is this our depressed episode?
This is our most depressed episode I think we've had in a while. Number one on the list. Speaking of capitalism, say hello to the Apple Newton.
Speaking of depression.
Speaking of depression.
The Apple Newton. I mean, this is just ahead of its time, right?
How much do you know about the Apple Newton? Because I didn't know about it before this list. Genuinely.
I mean, it's just one of those pocket computers, isn't it?
Kind of. It's less a pocket computer and more just a notepad that you doodle on that's digital. It's a digital notepad. And that's pretty much it. I don't think it even stored files. I think you just draw something. It was like PictoChat.
Huh.
It was like the PictoChat on the DS, but before it was needed. It was in the 1990s.
I mean, I can see where they're coming from. I know someone who uses like a digital note taker, but like it can save the notes. You can pull it up again. Like you can link stuff in it. The screen looks very similar to this. Except
Yes.
It's backlit and it's nice. So like you can see it even when there's glare.
And
I can see where they're going for.
And I do like the more the ebook readers and the kind of digital note takers that we have today, because they're designed to not feel like the same type of screen that we have. They designed to feel a lot more like paper. I feel like we're at a point where technology allows that to work properly. Back then, the Apple Newton, according to what I read after finding this article, just could not read your fucking handwriting. It was bad. Like, it was not, the technology was not there. It could not work.
Oh man.
They had the idea.
Okay.
They had the idea.
They had the idea. I'm trying really hard.
You're trying really hard.
I even hate Apple. I don't know why I'm so shooting for them right now.
You were, because you started this episode insistent on trying to find a purpose for every single one of these inventions.
I know, but also I do miss the old Apple logo that was just a rainbow.
I did like their old Apple logo. Their old logo is great.
It's a little more gay back then.
They were gay, yeah.
Was Steve Jobs gay?
I don't know. Was he?
1 second, let me look that up.
Was Steve? Yeah, I'll let you do the looking up. That's fine. That's fine. I feel like there were a lot of major celebrity figures or just like public figures that were queer and weren't very open about it.
Steve Jobs, who died in 2011, was not gay.
Not gay. Confirmed.
According to Reuters.
Okay, well that's Reuters' thoughts. You know, we don't care about Reuters. But yeah, moving on. I don't have anything else to move on to. I think this is
but Tim Cook, the chief executive officer of Apple, is gay.
Yeah, that's the current one. We know that.
Yeah, shout out Tim Cook.
Shout out to Tim Cook, baby.
Except we also fucking hate Tim Cook. All right, he's a traitor.
He's
took away
exploiting
the
the
rainbow.
masses. No, he's exploiting the straight people to put funds directly into a gay man's pocket. I mean, that's praxis right there.
Is it? Is it?
Yes.
Is what he's doing praxis?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. You know what? Slay. We love to. There's no one.
What are you? You're gonna struggle to keep saying this.
I know, because I can't say it. There's no one untier than Tim Cook, with a C.
Yeah, Tim Cook does in fact have a C. It's in last name Cook. Yep.
Yeah, his name is actually Tim Unty.
All right, moving on. We're gonna be ending this episode. Thank you all for watching or listening. Or what else?
We cannot end this episode on Tim Unty.
What else are we gonna end it on? I can't. Normally, whenever I'm like this, I just go back to the list. This is the last thing on the list. This is number 1. What else can I follow that up with?
I hope everyone's had a good day. If you're depressed like we are, hopefully you get out of it soon. Like,
stop being depressed, motherfucker. Overcome your goddamn depression.
Maybe you need a little less straight Steve Jobs and more gay Tim Unty.
All right. I don't know what to do. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm tired.
Leave a comment, subscribe, like, review.
Why did I think it would be a good idea to do a list of the worst things, just in general?